اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق وهادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره مقداره العظيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما. الحمد لله رب العالمين. أفضل الصلاة وأتم تسليما على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. ورضي الله تعالى عن السادة التابعين علماء آملين وأئمة أربعين مجتهدين مخلديهم إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. I decided to do this video. And it's basically off of the basis of the Aqeedah of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. The schools of Aqeedah of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, there are two. Actually three. The Ashari of Imam Abu Hassan al-Ashari, and the Maturidi of Imam Abu Mansur al-Maturidi. And then you have the creed of Imam Ahmad. Alhamdulillah. What is necessary to know about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is wajib to know. What is necessary to believe about Allah, His Messenger, and the hereafter. But there are a number of ayats that define Tawheed, and it includes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's attributes. In Usuluddin of Shaykh Uthman bin Fodio Taqaddamallahu bi rahmati Ameen, he had addressed that it's obligatory for all Muslims to know it is necessary for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be attributed with these attributes. Wajib al-wujud. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's existence is absolutely necessary. And the proof, you have two proofs. You have two dalils. You have dalil al-aqliyah, and dalil al-naqliyah, the intellectual proofs and the textual proofs. The intellectual proofs is supported by the Quran. The intellectual proofs are supported by the Quran through the debate of Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam and Nimrud. Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, he said to Nimrud that my Lord gives life and He takes death. And Nimrud said, I give life and I take death as well. So we had two individuals from prison to come out, and he had ordered one to be killed and the other one to not be killed. Then Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, he said, well, my Lord causes the sun to rise in the east, then you cause it to rise in the west. So everyone waited. The next day, the sun rose in the east like it normally does. So this is a refute. This is how Ibrahim refuted Nimrud. Another explanation of the Dalil al-Aqliyah, intellectual proofs, is when Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam was a young man, and his people, they went on a journey, and he destroyed all the idols. And he left the big one, and he put the axe on the big one. And when they came back, they said, who did this? He said, why don't you ask the big one? He said, well, you know that these idols, they don't talk. He said, well, if the idols does not talk and they does not benefit you, then why do you worship them? So this is the explanation of Dalil al-Aqliyah. Dalil al-Aqliyah. The Dalil al-Naqliyah is textual proof from the Quran and Hadith. But I'm only going to deal with the proofs from the Quran for this ayat. This ayat, for this attribute, wajibul wujud, the existence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah exists, and His existence is because of the created things that are existed. You know, so this is the intellectual proof. His existence is necessary because of things that are created. You know, so if Allah Ta'ala didn't exist, everything that exists in creation wouldn't exist. The ayat of Quran in Surah Ibrahim, ayat 10, فأفي الله شق فطير السماوات والأرض. Is there any doubt that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the heavens and the earth? Allah is wahid, ahad, his oneness. His oneness, because there is no partner associated with him. He's alone. The proof from the text of the Quran is the surah, the first ayah, Qul huwallahu ahad. Say he is Allah the one. Allah is al-Qadim. He is eternal. His eternity. He's eternal before time, meaning that he has beginninglessness. You know what I'm saying? He was before time. He was before time creation. He's not in time creation. So he's not in any of his creation, period. He's not in the heavens. He's not in the earth. He's not in the throne. He's not in a direction. He's not in anything. The ayat that supports this is the same ayat that supports the explanation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala exists without a place. And this is the ayat in Surah Al-Hadad, ayat 3. هو أول والآخر والظاهر وباطن وهو بكل شيء عليم. Well, Allah Ta'ala says he is the first and the last and the manifest and the hidden and the knower of all things. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is al-Baqi, everlastingness. He's eternally continuous after time. After everything is finished and destroyed and obliterated, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will still exist. The proof of this ayat is Surah Al-Furqan, ayat 53, which is وَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى الْحَيُّ الَّذِينَ لَا يُمُوتُ, and rely upon the ever-living who never dies. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is al-Ghani, independently rich, needless. Al-Ghani is needless. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not in need of his creation at all, and his creation is in need of him. The text where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran in Surah Al-Muhammad, ayat 38, Wallahu al-Ghani, and he is independently rich. Allah is al-Qadir, powerful, al-Qawi. But in this in Usuluddin is al-Qadir. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says in Surah Al-Baqarah, Inna Allah ala kulli shayin qadir. He has power over all things. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is al-Murid, has will, his will. In Surah Al-Hud, ayat 107, Inna rabbaka fa'alu lima yurid. Inna rabbaka fa'alu lima yurid. Surely your Lord does whatever he wills. Whatever he wills. Allah is al-Alim, has knowledge of all things, all knowledgeable. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Baqarah, ayat 231, Inna Allah bi kulli shay'in alim. Allah is the knower of all things. Allah is al-Sami, the hearing. Allah hears, the all-hearing. In Surah Al-Taha, ayat 46, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Asma'u wa arad. Allah hears and he sees. And this is the same proof for the next attribute, al-Basir. He sees, has sight. The same proof from the text of the Quran. Asma'u ara. Also, you know what I'm saying, for the attributes Sami al-Basir is also in the ayat Laysa kamithlihi shay. And Laysa kamithlihi shay negates anything literal about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you can think of and conjure up of the meanings of the ayats. So if you're going to give a meaning, then give a meaning that is befitting for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's greatness, exaltedness, majesty, majestic. give a explanation that is befitting, not something that'll cause a person to think in their mind that has a similarity to his creation. The next ayat is Allah's the next attribute is Allah is Al Hayyu. He is the living. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Ghafar 65, Huwa al-Hayy, He is the living. Allah is Al-Mutakallam, He has speech. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Nisa ayat 164, وَكَلَمَ اللَّهُ مُوسَى تَقْلِيمًا. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke to Musa directly. And the last attribute is al-mukhafil al-khulqihi. There's no resemblance. He has no resemblance to his creation, and the proof of this ayat is in Surah Al-Ashura, ayat 11. Laysa kamithlihi shay'un wa huwa sami'ul basir. There's nothing like that is like unto Allah, unto Him, and He is the hearing, the seeing. So I'm just going to deal with them attributes relating to Allah. I'm not going to get into Nabuwa or Sama'a in the hereafter. I'm going to go forward to the ayahs that are related to Tawheed. Well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah An-Nahl, ayah 60, وَلِلَّهِ مَثَلُ أَعْلَى. Allah has attributes that do not resemble attributes of others. And the next ayah in Surah An-Nahl 74, فَلَا تَضْرِبُوا لِلَّهِ أَمْثَلًا. So do not associate similarities to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In Surah Al-Maryam, ayah 65, هَلْ تَعْلَمُوا لَهُ سَمِيًّا. Do you know of anything which is similar to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, similar to Him? Do you know of anything that is similar to Him? The ayah laysa kamithlihi shay. There's nothing like unto Allah anyway. Nothing like unto Him. And the last ayah in Surah Al-Ikhlas, وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ. There's nothing like unto Him. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He does exist without a place, and there are hadith to support this statement, along with statements from the Salafus Salih. The ayat that I had mentioned, هو أول والآخر وظاهر وباطن وهو بكل شيء عليم. He is the first and the last, and the manifest and the hidden, and He is the knowing of everything. And He is all knowing about everything. The ayahs that precede this ayat is talking about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's greatness. سَبِّحَ لِلَّهِ مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَهُوَ عَزِيزُ الْحَكِيمُ. Whatsoever is in the heavens and in the earth exalts Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and He is the exalted and might, the wise. لَهُ مُلْكُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ يُحْيِي وَيُمِيتُ وَهُوَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. To Him belongs the dominion of the heavens and the earth. He gives life and brings death, and He has power over all things. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not in need of His creation, so He does not need to be in a place, in a direction. The hadith that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam he said in Sahih Muslim, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "O Allah, You are the first. There is nothing before You. You are the last. There is nothing after You. And You are the manifest. There is nothing above You. And You are the hidden. There is nothing below You."